One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said,
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, "Yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party." What is he talking about?
Instant is going off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of it. No, dude, you take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that flicky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the, but he wants you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit!
Right?
Wait, so this is
so Charlamagne said
It's not true, but I told after he brought up the stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
What you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees you.
What?
I heard Diddy touched your butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'll be like, yo. Yeah.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look. I could find other things to do for money. He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like hating on, like doing things with people I'd done business with that he'd done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, so all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah, leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have more leftovers.
Cassie was not offended by what I was offended by. This is
wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
That's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
yeah, it's true.
In public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. Though. It's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we gotta hang out now. Like, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some fly shit and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
feel like all these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
say you're a hater. They say
You're a
you're crazy.
hater. You do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
it
is,
might come from you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn. They were and pillaged. This was never going on, right? And what do I get for the? I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go. When you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Know. Like that, look, you know, like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
Because
of the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Oh,
like it's a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil. I can say it.
You still had the blackest face out. You still had to mimic his voice because he's like,
but his voice wasn't even that different.
And he had a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, that's. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
You see
saw that video.
It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, "Yo, Fab, we ain't party." Fab was like, "Nah, we partying tonight."
He's like, "No, like, but he didn't party."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yo, they let that one go." Like I had to say something about it later because I was like, "Oh, it was."
For over 3 decades. He controlled every narrative, every scandal, every headline. No matter the situation, Sean Diddy Combs always had the upper hand, until now. Whether it was a high-profile breakup, a business failure, or whispers of misconduct, Diddy managed to spin every story in his favor. His public image was a fortress, meticulously maintained by a team of PR experts and fueled by his own charisma. He smiled through accusations, laughed off rumors, and turned even the most damning moments into opportunities for reinvention. Cassie Ventura's lawsuit didn't just shake Hollywood, it shattered it. The case wasn't just another celebrity legal battle, it exposed the cracks in Diddy's carefully constructed empire. Allegations of manipulation, control, and abuse painted a picture that contradicted everything the public thought they knew about him. And when the courtroom doors opened, the world watched as the man who had always been untouchable began to unravel. In a dramatic courtroom showdown, the music mogul lost his composure in front of the world. Gone was the polished, unflappable figure who had dominated red carpets and boardrooms for decades. Instead, viewers saw a man visibly shaken, his mask slipping with each passing moment. The stakes were higher than ever, not just for Diddy, but for an entire industry built on power dynamics and silence. Here's what really happened when Diddy's mask finally came off. Sean Diddy Combs built an empire on image control. From red carpets to interviews, he mastered the art of staying calm under pressure. His reputation? Untouchable. His power? Absolute. For 30 years, we've watched him walk red carpets with a perfect smile, handle tough interviews without breaking a sweat, and manage public scandals without ever losing his cool. Remember that 2017 interview when a reporter asked about rumors of payoffs to former employees? Diddy simply smiled, adjusted his suit jacket, and smoothly changed the subject without even blinking. Or the time his restaurant venture failed in 2012, and he showed up to the closing night party acting like it was all part of some master plan. Classic Diddy. Never letting anyone see him sweat. Behind the scenes, though, whispers told a different story. Sources close to Diddy revealed he employs a staff of 12 people just to manage his public appearance. From rehearsed responses to practiced facial expressions, everything about Diddy in public was calculated. A former assistant once shared that Diddy would practice interview answers in the mirror for hours before TV appearances. He even had a media trainer create surprise scenarios to test his ability to stay calm under pressure. But behind those designer sunglasses, cracks began to form. Former employees whispered about rage issues for years. There were two Diddys. One Bad Boy Records staffer admitted off the record, the smooth operator everyone saw on TV, and the man who threw phones at walls when things didn't go his way. The first signs appeared days before the trial. Photographers caught Diddy snapping at a fan outside his lawyer's office. Then came a tense pre-trial press conference where he gripped the podium so hard his knuckles turned white. Small slips, but for a man who spent millions on image control, they were telling. PR crisis manager Tanya Rodriguez explained how this works. Celebrities build personas like fortress walls, but under enough pressure, those walls crack. And once they start cracking, the whole structure can collapse fast. That's exactly what happened on day 3. By day 3 of the trial, witnesses reported Diddy completely losing his composure. Court reporter Marcus Jenkins described seeing Diddy physically shaking as certain evidence was presented. His leg bounced so hard that the defense table visibly moved, catching the attention of everyone in the room. He interrupted his own lawyer not once, not twice, but 3 separate times, his voice growing louder and more strained with each outburst until the judge finally intervened, slamming her gavel to restore order. The tension in the courtroom was palpable, with spectators exchanging uneasy glances as Diddy's carefully constructed image began to crumble before their eyes. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get more intense, the courtroom doors swung open, and in walked someone Diddy never expected to see supporting Cassie. It was his longtime industry rival, 50 Cent, whose presence immediately shifted the energy in the room. The rivalry between 50 Cent and Diddy goes back nearly 2 decades. These two haven't just disliked each other, they've actively gone after one another since the early 2000s. 50 has never hidden his feelings about Diddy, calling him out on radio shows, in interviews, and especially on social media. Remember when 50 accused Diddy of knowing something about Biggie's murder? Or when he publicly questioned Diddy's sexuality for years. So when 50 Cent walked into that courtroom, wearing a perfectly tailored black suit and those signature sunglasses, the entire room froze. Court reporter Janelle Martin said the silence was so thick you could hear phones vibrating in pockets. Diddy, who'd been whispering to his attorney, stopped mid-sentence. His head snapped up, and according to multiple witnesses, his expression changed from confusion to shock to something that looked like fear. No one expected 50 to physically show up. Sure, he'd been trolling Diddy online since Cassie filed her lawsuit. Just last month, 50 posted hotel surveillance video allegedly showing Diddy assaulting Cassie in 2016, captioned, "Money can't hide who you really are." The post got over 12 million views. He followed that up with a series of Instagram posts hinting he had more receipts about Diddy's behavior. What most people didn't realize was that 50 had been communicating with Cassie's legal team for weeks. A source close to the situation revealed that 50's team reached out right after Cassie filed her lawsuit. He told them he believed her story and wanted to help however he could. As 50 took a seat in the back row, the courtroom energy shifted entirely. Every head turned back and forth between him and Diddy like they were watching a tennis match. Diddy tried to focus on his lawyer's notes, but courtroom sketches show him repeatedly glancing over his shoulder. Then came the bombshell. During the lunch recess, 50 stepped outside to a crowd of reporters. He didn't just express support for Cassie. He announced he was personally funding additional legal support for her case through his Gun ID Foundation. "I'm putting money behind making sure survivors get heard," 50 told the press. "And I'm going to help more women come forward with their stories about powerful men in this industry." He added, "This isn't about me and Diddy's history. This is about right and wrong." When this news reached Diddy inside the courtroom, witnesses say his reaction was instant and violent. He slammed his fist on the defense table so hard his water glass tipped over. His lawyer tried to calm him down, but Diddy was visibly shaking. Court security moved closer to the defense table. The timing couldn't have been worse for Diddy, because just as this confrontation reached its peak, the prosecution announced they were about to present new evidence. Evidence they claimed would prove Diddy had lied under oath. The courtroom was electric with tension. The prosecution team had confident, almost smug expressions, signaling they were about to drop something big. Your Honor, we'd like to present evidence item 47B, the lead prosecutor announced. The defense team looked confused. According to my source in the room, Diddy's lead attorney immediately stood up, objecting. Your Honor, we haven't been provided with any item labeled 47B in discovery. That's when everyone realized something unexpected was happening. The judge called both legal teams to the bench. They huddled in intense conversation for nearly 5 minutes while Diddy sat alone at the defense table, repeatedly looking back at 50 Cent, who hadn't moved from his spot in the back row. When the attorneys returned to their tables, Diddy's lawyer looked defeated. The judge spoke directly to the jury. The court will allow this evidence as it was only discovered yesterday. The prosecutor then explained they had obtained security footage from Diddy's Miami residence dated April 2018. The courtroom screens lit up, and that's when everything changed. The footage showed what appeared to be Diddy and Cassie in a hallway. Though the video had no sound, the body language was clear. Diddy was pointing and yelling, backing Cassie against a wall. Then came the moment that caused audible gasps in the courtroom. The video showed Diddy grabbing Cassie by the shoulders, shaking her violently, and pushing her to the ground. Diddy's reaction was immediate. He stood up so fast his chair fell backward. That's not what happened, he shouted before his attorney physically pulled him back down. The lawyer frantically whispered in his ear, but Diddy's face had transformed. His eyes were wide, his breathing visibly heavy. A court officer moved closer to the defense table. What made this footage so devastating wasn't just what it showed, but what Diddy had claimed under oath just the day before. He had specifically stated, "I have never in any instance physically assaulted Ms. Ventura or any woman." As the prosecutor pointed out these contradictions, Diddy's composure collapsed. He kept shaking his head, muttering to himself, and at one point even put his head down on the table. A bailiff later told reporters he'd never seen a defendant's demeanor change so dramatically during a single court session. "It was like watching someone transform right in front of you," he said. Before the trial, celebrities stood firmly behind Diddy. His famous friends showed up at his parties, collaborated on his songs, and defended him publicly when rumors surfaced. But that all changed after day 3. The footage of Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie, combined with his courtroom meltdown, shattered the code of silence. And 50 Cent's public backing of Cassie gave others permission to pick sides. Within hours of 50's courthouse appearance, the celebrity world fractured into clear camps. Usher, who collaborated with Diddy on multiple hits, quietly unfollowed him on Instagram. Mary J. Blige, once inseparable from Diddy during the bad boy era, did the same. Justin Bieber, who considered Diddy a mentor in his early career, not only unfollowed him but deleted all their past photos together. These weren't random acts. This was calculated distance. Social media became a battlefield. Lizzo posted a simple "Believe Women" message with no context. The Weeknd shared a black screen with the words, "Power doesn't equal truth." Even Drake, who usually stays out of industry drama, posted, "The truth always surfaces eventually." Cardi B went live on Instagram saying, "I've seen this type of behavior in the industry for years. It's time we stop protecting abusers just because they've got money." She never mentioned Diddy by name, but everyone knew exactly who she meant. Meanwhile, support for Cassie grew stronger each day. Female artists who previously worked with Diddy began reaching out to her legal team, offering to testify about their own experiences. Lady Gaga sent flowers to Cassie's home with a note saying simply, "I believe you." Cassie took the stand around 2:30 p.m. on day 3. She spoke clearly, making eye contact with the jury as she described an incident from 2019. She testified that Diddy had threatened her career after she tried to end their relationship. "He said he made me, and he could destroy me just as easily," she stated. Diddy started shaking his head before she even finished speaking. His attorney kept placing a hand on his arm, trying to calm him down. But the breaking point came when Cassie described a party at Diddy's Hampton house in 2018. She testified that he had locked her in a bedroom for 2 days after seeing her talking to another music executive. As she spoke, Diddy's face changed. His eyes widened, his jaw tightened. Suddenly, Diddy stood up. His attorney grabbed his suit jacket, trying to pull him back down, but it was too late. "That's all lies," he shouted, pointing directly at Cassie. "You know what you did." The courtroom froze. Even the court reporter stopped typing for a second. Cassie flinched but kept her eyes forward, not looking at him. But Diddy wasn't done. He turned toward the back of the courtroom where 50 Cent Saturday and you, he yelled, his voice cracking with anger. "You'll regret getting involved in this." Court security immediately moved toward Diddy. 2 officers positioned themselves between him and the witness stand. Another stood directly behind his chair. Judge Harmon slammed her gavel 3 times. "Mr. Combs, you will control yourself in my courtroom," she demanded. "One more outburst, and I will hold you in contempt." Through all of this, Cassie remained composed on the stand. She took a sip of water and continued her testimony as if the explosion never happened. Her attorney later told reporters this composure came from a place of newfound confidence, knowing she finally had support from powerful industry figures like 50 Cent. Diddy's legal team scrambled after court adjourned. Their entire defense strategy, portraying him as a calm, reasonable businessman, collapsed the moment he started shouting in court. A legal insider told me they spent all night rewriting their approach because the perfect gentleman angle was now impossible to sell to the jury. Their new emergency strategy? Playing the victim. Just this morning, Diddy's attorneys filed an urgent motion requesting a mistrial, claiming 50 Cent's presence was a deliberate attempt to provoke their client. But the judge denied the motion within hours, writing that Mr. Combs' behavior is his responsibility alone. Meanwhile, Cassie's team capitalized perfectly. Her lead attorney requested the judge allow 3 new witnesses who previously declined to testify. These witnesses reportedly came forward after seeing Diddy lose his cool, feeling safer now that his power seemed to be slipping. 50 Cent kept turning up the heat. Since the courtroom confrontation, he's posted 7 times about the case, each message more pointed than the last. His most recent post showed a split screen of Diddy in court next to the security footage with the caption, "Actions speak louder than lawyers." It got over 3 million likes in 6 hours. He also announced a new documentary series called Music Industry Secrets, which many believe will focus on Diddy. This case has become more than just a trial. It's an industry reckoning, one that reaches far beyond the courtroom walls. Diddy, who for decades controlled his image with an iron grip and intimidated Hollywood into silence, now finds himself watching his empire crumble in real time. The cracks are undeniable. Revolt Media stock plummeted by 14% almost overnight. Major brand deals that once seemed untouchable have been abruptly paused. Talent agencies, once eager to work with him, are now reviewing their contracts with fresh scrutiny. Industry insiders estimate he could lose upwards of $200 million in business deals, regardless of how the verdict ultimately shakes out. Cassie, who once lived in fear of speaking out, now stands stronger with each passing day. Her courage has inspired others to step forward, emboldened by her resilience. And then there's 50 Cent, whose calculated support for Cassie flipped the power dynamic entirely. What should have been an easy win for Diddy, a man known for his ability to navigate scandals unscathed, has spiraled into a public collapse, exposing vulnerabilities no one thought existed. But this isn't just about Diddy anymore. The silence that once protected powerful figures in the music industry is breaking. For years, people whispered behind closed doors, too afraid to speak up against someone as influential as Diddy. Now, those whispers are turning into conversations, and those conversations into action. Because if someone like Diddy, untouchable, invincible Diddy, can fall from grace so spectacularly, it raises a chilling question. If Diddy can fall, who's next?